What's going on, everybody? You are listening to the Playing On Podcast. My name is Carl Markowski, and thank you for joining me once again on this beautiful, beautiful morning. I have some hot cocoa right now. I'm not drinking coffee. I probably should, but it's sugar-free cocoa, so in a Christmas mug. I'm very seasonal right now. It kind of does the trick, though, in the morning. A little bit of hot cocoa. Actually, a lot of bit of hot cocoa. I'm drinking. It's a decent sized mug. But anyway, to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by CK Fight Life, who right now has a plethora of things going on right now on their website and sales. They have the 2019 CK line of pants, of clothing, of jerseys, of packs. They also have the rash guards for jiu-jitsu and gis, which I actually just received mine a few days ago. That thing it's nasty, man. If you guys enjoy jiu-jitsu, please check out CK Fight Life. If you enjoy paintball, check out CK Fight Life. They have all kinds of awesome gear, and very, very cool company. But another cool thing that they do is they do laser engraving on markers, and you've seen them on the pro field for sure with Houston Heat. A couple guys have those done, and I believe I don't know if another guy on Houston Heat does or somebody else. I see them all over the place, but if you guys want to check out their website, they have all the information there, all the way from the jiu-jitsu aspect of things to the paintball side to the paintball marker laser engraving side. But make sure you hit them up, get something done. They have great deals going on right now. ckfightlife.com. We are also brought to you by Charm City Paintball, who has a ton of no, not a ton, because I mean a lot of his stuff is limited. Well, all of his stuff is limited that he makes, but he has probably what looks to be maybe like 15, maybe 15, 20 Gucci patterns. There is a red one that is really sick, but he has all kinds. He's trying to bring back the black. I know that was really popular. But anyway, Mike over at Charm City hand sews all of this stuff. It looks amazing. It's great quality work. We just sent a headband out to Nick Laval, who's going to be wearing one. A bunch of pros on the pro circuit are going to be wearing these headbands. They're so awesome. They're very limited quality, and limited quantity, awesome quality. But if you guys have not yet, please check him out over on Instagram, Charm City Paintball, and the same thing. Whoa, looks like he might have a website, charmcitypaintball.com. I just noticed that. Well, holy shit. Go check that out. I'm sure he has all the information you guys need over there. Make sure to let him know that Carl from the Playing On Podcast sent you over there. So thank you, Mike. We are also brought to you by Rise Custom. These guys are out of Greece, and they've made custom jerseys for the Outlaws. I have seen them make. They actually made a couple shirts for me. The Playing On Podcast shirts which will be out very, very shortly. And then also he does custom compression gear. So anything that let's see if I can bring it up here. I know that you guys can't see this, but they have they have jerseys, they have t-shirts, they have tank tops, shorts, polo shirts, t-shirts, and zip-up hoodie, compression gear. All this stuff can be supplemented onto, and banners, hats, barrel bags, headbands, and have it all be matching. I believe all of the Outlaws have the undergear, have the outer gear, and it's all made by Rise. It's really, really cool stuff. I just recently started working with them, and they're gonna be making the Playing On Podcast t-shirts. The quality is really, really nice. That it's super soft, super light, and they came up with the one design for me. I think it's really, really cool. It has the Playing On Podcast, the name of the podcast on there. I've had plenty of compliments on it. It's so cool. I don't know people in the video, you guys are going to be able to see this, but we have this t-shirt here, and then we'll also have the logo tee, which is going to be this one right here. So if you're listening, go back and check out the video for that part. But I'll also be posting on social media here probably over the weekend about how to get these bad boys. So thank you so much to Rise Custom Gear. Make sure you guys check them out, risecustom.com. And for the holiday season, we are lastly brought to you by Shock Tech Paintball. And if you don't know who Shock Tech is, they've been around for a long time. And right now, what's hot? Mechanical markers, especially autocockers. And I have been looking at the Shock Tech site, and holy shit, do they have some sweet markers on this site. It's Danny Love, and he's assembling all of these by hand. And the 5-star section is they have this green and black one that is amazing, matte gloss black. These things are sick, man. Honestly, I'm gonna have to learn how to shoot one for sure, because I'm gonna be playing with the gunfighters for the 10-man mechanical, and I don't know how he creates these things and how they shoot so well. It's amazing. But if you head over to Shock Tech Paintball or ShockTechUSA.com, they have the Gunfighter 1.5 frame on sale right now. There's limited quantities. He also has a bunch of markers on under the 5-star rating as well as the 4-star. 4-star is just there might be tiny little blemishes or something like that to not exactly qualify for a 5-star, but everything that you could think of to build your own or have one built by Danny is on this website. So make sure you check them out, ShockTechUSA.com, and let them know that I sent you over there, and get yourself a nice shiny new marker for the 10-man series. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Appreciate it. This podcast is with Max Lundqvist, and I've known Max for a long time, and it's weird. Him and I kind of talked about this too. Like we knew each other, throughout the years, but at the same time, we never really had a conversation as long as we had on the podcast, and this is why I love this so much, is because you get so much more in depth with people, and you scratch the surface on who their character is as a friend or a fan, maybe even. But once you kind of dive in with a podcast with somebody, they really start to kind of reveal themselves. And Max is a genuinely great guy, awesome character, a great ambassador for the sport, and what I admire so much about him is that he's creative. He thinks outside the box. He's always trying to think of the next, not necessarily the next best thing, but how to maybe make something more convenient, something better. What is this product or this missing, and how can I make it better? And I admire him for that, and I think he's a great character. I think he's a great person, and I was super stoked to be able to have him on the podcast and talk about a few things. So without further of my babbling any further, here is the podcast with Maximus Lundqvist. I appreciate you doing this.
Of course, I appreciate you doing this.
I love talking to people, man.
Yeah, and it seems like it's going really good for you, right?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, and a lot of people are enjoying all the conversations that I'm having. And I think mostly it's you hear all these paintball stories, and you only know this much about these people that you've watched over the years. You might follow them on Instagram or social medias or whatever, but I don't think you really you don't really understand them like you would if you sit down for an hour and a half conversation with them.
Yeah, no. I 100% agree with that. It's very like disarming, so to say, to sit for a while and like you dare show like your weaker side, vulnerability.
Yes,
is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
And
you open
awesome.
up.
Exactly. Hello.
Oh, gotcha. There it is.
Cool. They're not so small, these ones, but they're really freaking good. The sound sport. Actually, I take that back because both my pairs, like I changed them one time, and then the second pair is now failing on me too. Can I just do a refill of the coffee and then we'll get started?
That is tackle and fuel for the podcast industry's coffee. Yeah,
definitely. Can't have enough coffee. I might lose you a little bit now. I'm walking through my kitchen, which is being redone here, so it looks like a war zone. And I asked my workers not to go crazy with the power tools the next hour or so. So let's cross our fingers.
yeah. I had to put in a new entry and rear door in the house this weekend, so that should be fun. And it's probably 30 or so degrees outside, maybe not even that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
it's fantastic. Yeah, your fingers like when you hit the hammer with it when it's freezing, it's gonna feel so good. Ugh. It's like, you remember that like in the beginning when we played paintball all the time, even didn't matter how cold it was, and you got shot in the fingers. That was awesome.
I still never really got on the whole glove boat thing. I wore gloves like here and there periodically, mostly in the cold. But I never really got on wearing gloves all the time. I kind of like the feeling of playing and feeling that the dirt and the grass and the paint and everything in your hand when you're playing. Yeah,
I agree 100%. And especially us that did the semi-pro, semi-automatic, where you had to be like, rah! I did a pair of gloves that I actually started wearing, and they're like only like this super stretchy material, and these ones I can play in, but other ones forget about it. It's like, Malloy is always like, he has got like always like full fingers, so and he must have small fingers, I guess. Anyway, so did a little change here.
Nice.
I painted this with actually by hand, these drips, because I tried like to do it on the computer, but it never came out good. So I wanted like kind of like a Brooklyn, kind of New York, graffiti style t-shirt. So.
Nice. Dude, you're always trying to be, and that's one thing I've known about you, throughout these years, is you've always been trying to innovate and create something that, something that's going to be convenient for the player, but also necessary. And I think that's one thing that I've admired about you is that aspect of your character it's just very intriguing.
I think it's from how we grew up. Like it was, hard winters, and then you have to like be efficient. Otherwise, why do we need it for? It's like there's this children's book that I'm reading for my kids, and they're flying on this balloon thing, and they're in there, and it's like going down, and they're like just throwing out whatever they don't need. And it's like, I think in life, if you do that as well, just try to dump everything that you don't really need. And the same with, like the products, like try to cut out whatever you don't need and just bring exactly what you need. And you can, I think you can, maybe we should save this for the podcast itself.
Yeah. Because I want to go back to the beginning of, I'm sure if you guys haven't heard, Max was on a podcast called the Paintball Podcast with Mike Zapantis, and that I really enjoyed listening to that one. But hopefully we won't have you repeat yourself too much on going back on your history and everything. But I also want to hear about
old,
how.
So that might happen. Sorry,
That's all right.
I don't remember exactly.
That's all right.
Have I told you this story?
Dude, I'm so used to saying the same shit on this podcast over and over and over again, and people are probably so sick of like the points that I try and pull across. But the thing is that you only have these conversations with people. I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but it's like you and I have never sat down and had a conversation like this. Like, and that's what I've stressed too about like paintball relationships, paintball friendships, right? It's you and I, we're friends, right? We're pretty good friends. We're first name basis, and you will always stop and say hi to each other. Yeah, exactly. And
pleasure to see you, Mr. Markovsky.
And this goes back to the tip when I played on Tipman, and you were on Russian Legion and Joy and everything. So this goes way back. But the thing is that what's so strange about it is that we've only had those little encounters, and we've had maybe 20-minute conversations, but nothing really, I feel, over that. But yet, year after year, we always see each other, so it's like we know each other, but really we 5 times a year we see each other, and talk to each other.
I've been thinking about that, especially since I got in heavily into like downhill mountain biking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, everyone's so cool, because I used to snowboard, I used to surf. I snowboard, surf, skateboard, paintball, and all of those sports, golf, like all of those sports are like super, super similar. I figured out like this is what I get stuck to. But anyway, so because they're very mental, very mental sport. So in the mountain bike scene, it's like everyone's so friendly. It doesn't matter who it is you talk to. I bought some parts from a guy in Washington State, and he's like on the other side of the globe from me, and he was like talking to me for an hour about brakes, which was awesome. Yeah. So I figured it out why it is like that. Okay, there's no competition. There's plenty of trails for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's got cool gear that you're like looking at that you used to have in paintball. You had your own shopper, like your paintball market was like your own like Harley Davidson.
The aftermarket
different
stuff.
barrels.
Yep.
Yeah. So to get to the point here, we're shooting each other. We're playing on different teams. You're trying to steal my meat. We're going for the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think the basic natural instinct tells you that, oh, Carl is on that team and we might play them in the quarterfinals, and he's trying to steal our trophy, which is like, if you look back at it, was the deer meat or something. That tribe was trying to steal that meat from us and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for talking about meat, all you vegetarians or vegans, but that's like that's where we come from, and I think it's so. I think it's a little bit naive to think that we're so sophisticated and that we're so like, oh, we're so different today than we were back in the days. And it's like, why do we love paintball? Because we go and hunt in a peaceful way. We shoot people without going to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It is a very aggressive and very violent sport in that way. Not violent, but you know what I mean? Like it brings out the worst in you.
Yeah, exactly. There's it brings out the worst and it brings out the best. And it's just like, and you can compare it, you can compare paintball to downhill mountain biking, to jiu-jitsu, to all these other things that involve competition, whether it be competition with other people. But at the end of the day, I feel like no matter what competition is, it's always with yourself as long as you love doing it. And that is, I think, the relationship between all of these extreme sports. I mean, you can throw the relativity in with the mainstream sports and everything, but with the extreme stuff, it's so individually oriented. But I mean, paintball is a team sport, yes, but there's so much individual skill and just discipline needed that you could relate to other extreme sports across the board,
and a lot of safety too with the mask, the barrel back, so that adds up a little bit, and even more to the discipline part, I think.
Yeah, like, there's a lot that goes into
soccer,
it.
you never have to you worry about security in soccer or lots of other sports. which I was just adding that because of how great paintball is, and especially for young kids, they can learn a lot. It's almost like a mini version of the army, you know, like, but it's cool. You can do it with tons of different ages. Everyone's like on the same level. So sorry to interrupt you, but I was just thinking there, like team sport, individual sport, because you have your own battle. There's now we got it. So in soccer there's one ball, in basketball there's one ball, in American football there's one ball, but here there's like billions of balls, and every individual battle that you're doing, Mark, Carl, down the tape there, is super important. But at the same time, your back player is having another battle with the back player behind the guy that you're battling with. So it's like a billion different individual little moments that come in together, which I think makes paintball very unique because it's so complex. Like on one field layout, there's a billion combinations of how to play it. And that's what I love watching you play, and watching Malloy play, and watching Federer play. And all. They see the matrix. You guys see the matrix so much. So you like use all these different angles of the field. Maybe you're only using like 5% of what could be done on the field, but still it's 100%, 200% more than most other players would do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I thank you for throwing me into that group of guys. Those are some legendary guys, man. I appreciate that.
Dude, you played on Excessive, world dominating team for many, many years. So you have definitely done. You are definitely a legend, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. Well, let's talk about your your legendary career and how that started and where paintball got involved with not only yourself but also with your brother. How did this whole craziness that is paintball kind of wedge its way into your life?
Okay, I probably said this a million times. There was a super cool movie called Gotcha that came out in the 80s. Late 80s, I would say, and they were actually in the college that they had this like game where they would mark each other, like you get a note who to mark, and it was with paintballs. Like, so in school you would just come up and shoot someone with a paintball. You had like and then you were out of the game. You had to be on your watch all the time, and it was so cool. My brother and me were like, that's what we've been looking for our whole lives, because we're like huge fans of Rambo and all those, like Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren. We're like very impressed by
big action movie buffs.
At that time you didn't really think about consequences of war and stuff like that. It was just cool. Anyway, so once it got legal in Sweden, 1991, my brother said, like, I'm gonna buy a PGP, you should definitely join. And it was so cool because my brother is 4 years older than me, and I was always the little guy, like being in the way and so on. So I was like, it was a lot of money for me at the time, and I saved up. So I'm like, but you know, your brother's your idol, so a lot of times. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then that just made us go from like here to like, like super good friends, and we did fight a lot too on the paintball field. So
I don't doubt that, man. I've got a brother and sister.
But as long as you solve the fights, you become stronger together after, because you understand each other more. And I think, I mean, I had no clue what door was opening at the time when we bought those paintball guns. But I'm so grateful and so happy that I said, let's do it. Just the feeling, like the first time, like that combination of like being super duper scared and like you fearing for your life pretty much. The first year that every time I played paintball, I thought this could be the day that I die. Seriously, like it
has that fight or flight feeling.
But it still felt so good to I'm gonna get that guy. It's like there's something inside of me, like, so and I figured out now that I have kids what it was, but that's a very long story. So anyway, it just satisfied so much inside of me when I was playing paintball, and the coolness and everything you feel after paintball game was like, wow, this is this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and also to just add on top of that, like at the time in Sweden, once we got into tournament paintball, which took like about a year to start, the paintball scene, the tournament scene in Sweden was like just full of like these like hardcore criminals and like really like.
Really?
Yeah, you check out Aftershock. I'm sure there was some tough guys in that team back in the days.
The stories of the guys who used to play paintball back in the day, not only on Aftershock but just across the board. I mean, it was a man's sport. There wasn't kids really who were playing at the level that those guys were playing at.
So me being from like one of the richer parts of Stockholm, playing on the same team as a guy that was on the cover of every newspaper, him and his friends, like, and the newspaper said these are the two most dangerous guys in Sweden, and here I am like playing paintball with him. He used to rob banks.
How old were you at the time?
I started 15, so I was about 19, maybe 18, 19, but I was still, you know, like, you think you're a grown up, but you
think you know everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me put you on pause for a quick sec. I gotta blow my nose. I'm tired of sniffling in front of in your ears. 1 sec.
I'll get some coffee. Just my 6th cup today. Oh, you're sick or just morning?
No, it's just early, and I'm in my basement right now, and it's cold, and I was in my warm bed, so I don't know if that transfer of energy is sniffing, but I could hear myself sniffle in the mic every time. I'm sure anybody who's gonna be listening to this is gonna be like, Jesus Christ, blow your nose, you turd.
Dude, I don't know. I've been doing cold water showers for a year and a half, almost 2 years now.
Really?
In February. And what I found in the mornings when I take it, it sucks the first 5 seconds. Like you're like, but after like 30 seconds, like 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, I can like completely like clear my nose. I think it's because you breathe so heavily, it kind of affects the nostrils, like the sinuses or whatever. So after like a minute and a half, it's just like, and then it's all gone, you know?
Really?
So I can send you. Can you if you're interested? I don't know. Like not a lot of people are into it, but if you want to, you can Google 15 or 16 benefits of cold water showers. And I heard so many people did it on the Tim Ferriss podcast. So I was like, once I read the benefits, I was like, if I don't do this, I'm freaking stupid, I told myself, you know?
Yeah.
So
I've listened to Tim Ferriss a couple times, and I think I've heard him mention the cold showers.
Yeah, and I mean, I think every happy person gets depressed every now and then, and it really helps, like, putting your mind into a positive vibe, if you know what I mean.
After cursing the water because it's so cold.
Yeah, exactly. Life sucks. It's so much better now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So, so you and your brother are getting involved in paintball, and how long did it take for you guys to? Did you guys jump on a team or start a team together, or did you guys at one point kind of split ways and then come back?
Yeah, so we're like at the time there wasn't Facebook and stuff like that. So we just try to find like people that also played on the island we grew up, and so we got really good friends with 2 brothers that also played, and they played way longer than us because they imported their stuff from the US and Germany and so on. So they were like really good, you know. But after a little while we got as good as them or even better. But anyway, we formed a team together, and then we contacted other players in Stockholm, and so we got this team. And we also got a sponsor deal, and listen to this. We got, from 1 case of paint, we got $2.85 discount. Fantastic sponsorship.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, it was like 0.1 cent discount per paintball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, we our first tournament we got smashed. We had no idea what was happening. Second tournament we actually beat one of Sweden's best team. And then we just kept going, and a little bit later, like maybe a year later, we played an indoor event and won the whole thing, and we beat Joy Division. I mean, we didn't. Yeah, we beat Joy Division, and took first. And after that, Maggie Idris asked my brother and me if we wanted to join Joy, and we're like, sounds good, sounds great, and yeah, it was unbelievable. That built a friendship for life with Maggot, and I think I was like 17 at the time, so I got to hang out with Maggot and all his friends that were 10 years older than me, and they took me into all these nightclubs in Stockholm. I used to spend the night over at their place all the time. So it's like it really became my new lifestyle, which was unbelievable because I came from kind of like this island where everyone's like just hanging out with people on the island, kind of little small cliques, and this just boom, really open. Like Maggie was the first second generation immigrant coming from Egypt, so he taught me so many things about life, and there's so many times he told me like, no, Max, you can't do that. That's not right because of this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's just like, yeah, because where I was, it was like, where I grew up, it was like, you didn't see life in the same way as you did when you grew up, like Maggot, like fighting in the streets and, like being part of teenage gangs and stuff like that. Not like with guns and knives and stuff, but, there was a lot of fighting going on in Stockholm at that time. This is like probably like 25 to 35 years ago, and it was tough. It was like a bunch of skinheads. Maggot was black coming from Egypt, so they were fighting each other, and yeah, a lot tougher times. So it was really cool for me coming from my sheltered childhood and just.
Well, I think everybody growing up who's in that age range, I think they always think, at least I did. You're so naive when you're that young, where you think everybody's going through that same exact thing as you are at that age. But when you start growing up and you start living your life, and especially in paintball, and I'm sure in other sports is the same thing, or anything else in life, but particularly in paintball at such a young age. I can kind of relate to that because I started getting into paintball when I was like 15 or 16, and then a couple years after that is when I got on Tipman and started traveling the world with a bunch of older guys from Lockout, and I had to grow up, not necessarily super fast, but my eyes were opened up to what... You
were not accepted to do... No one accepted you acting bad, right?
Right.
Like... When your friends back home, you could be, I'm trying to find a word here which is okay to say on the podcast, but you could be an open
and
mat. You could get away with it with your friend, right? But in the team, you freaking, even on Aftershock, you would get beat up if you acted bad.
Yeah,
you'd probably get beat up anyway, but
yeah. Well, the sport has changed so much too. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like nowadays, it's so. It's changed a lot from the conversations that I've had with Bruno and Rennick of what Aftershock used to be. If somebody got into a disagreement on Aftershock back then, they would fight it out to pretty much solve it or whatever, and then they'd be friends. They're still friends afterwards or whatever. But being as young as we were and getting thrown into this crazy world that we had really no idea what it was about, but it's so much about being an adult and making these decisions, not only having a good time, but growing up rather quickly in this world, because you are traveling and you are with a bunch of guys. Yes, you're having fun, but It's definitely molded my character. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's I think you put in a very like the if I understand you correctly, like you put into a very like serious situation. You have responsibility for the teams.
Hmm.
First of all, the team's logistics to get to a new place, and you're part of, like, if you don't do your job, the team is going to fail. So you're going to disappoint that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy that is taking time off from his work or his family or his da da da.
Hmm.
So I think when you're there, you need to be super disciplined. It's not like you're on your way to school where you just have to worry about yourself.
Yep.
So yeah, and like I said, in a different country, so just adds up a lot of um, on top of that responsibility. So I think that way paintball is fantastic.
Now,
Makes you like
before
yeah.
paintball, or even while paintball is going on, you said, were you playing like soccer, or were you doing anything else extreme wise that was kind of, that had your competition side of your of your abilities and of, you know, your childhood, that kind of took a sidestep once paintball stepped
Yeah,
in?
I think yeah, definitely. I grew up on a skateboard since I was like 6, so I think that was good for understanding that the repetitions are needed to be, you know, to learn stuff, because you
Hmm.
had to do a trick maybe 300-400 times sometimes before you nailed it,
Yeah.
and also for sliding in paintball, skateboarding is awesome because you have to go down smooth on pavement or asphalt. So that was fantastic. Um, but I think the competition um, in Sweden, we have great, like where I grew up, we have lots of hills, not tall ones. But still, like, where you could snowboard. So I got heavily into big air and started competing in that. So at the age of, I think, 20, I did it parallel for many years, and I was so early with snowboarding, so I could actually, if I wanted to. My friend went to the snowboard high school in Sweden, and I was almost on my way to go as well, but I had so much love for paintball,
Yeah.
so I took that decision to go with
Yep.
paintball. I tried to keep them together as much as possible, but it wasn't like you had to make a decision. So
Yeah, yeah, I hear you too, because I used to skateboard, not nearly as much as probably you did, but I did snowboard as well. And a lot of, you had mentioned how falling and learning how to fall actually helped you out with your diving and everything for paintball. Mine was baseball, so I did a lot of
mhm.
baseball where it hurts to, you know, on that gravel or dirt or whatever it is, you know, it hurts whenever you dive a certain way and you don't do it right. And so I tried to make sure that I was sliding and diving right where it didn't hurt, and that kind of folded right over into paintball.
Yeah, yeah, let me just show you something.
Yeah.
This is it going to second or third base?
Oh yeah. Well, that's probably second base. That's probably stealing second base right there.
That's like the best picture all year.
I
So
love
cool.
that
Like
picture.
how you see your eyes too. It's
Hmm.
so cool.
That's why I love clear lenses.
It's like, yeah, exactly. And I used to remember how cool when you watch like pictures of Oliver when he
Hmm.
played. He's like in his JT flex. And it's like,
Yep.
you know, it's like so much like it's so cool. Um, and just a quick little reminder and tip for the players out there is that with Joy Division we got to park. Like I would bring like a power drill, like a battery driven power drill or a stick or something, and we just went out and slid just for like 45 minutes. Just went on grass, we did it on turf, and like different surfaces. And there's turf fields everywhere nowadays,
Yeah.
so you can, and there's parks everywhere. Like there's no excuse to not go out and practice sliding, which is one of the best things to train, honestly. And
Hmm.
also you actually train your speed a lot as well, because you have to do the accelerations to get into the slide. So I took like 2 poles, like ski poles, taped them together as a cross, and then I would stick the pole into the ground, and I'd put the pole across. You had like a cross, but the pole was sticking out more one way, so you could kind of slide under it. You put it on like a foot and a half maybe, and then that way you practiced also sliding in low, and where you would, so you could time your, actually practice timing your slide where you need to be as small as possible. And that's huge. I mean, then you're going to extend your paintball career a lot if you don't pop a shoulder, guaranteed.
I've been very lucky. I haven't done that, but I've also, you know, I've been the guy where it's like, hey Carl, go to this 50, do this. So I had to learn how to dive correctly, and I think a lot of doing that, and even speed, is total body control. Knowing where your body is, knowing when to dive. You know, obviously sometimes there's times where you have to make a quick decision, and I think that's when you get hurt. I think when you have to make a decision where your brain and your body reacts and has to do something that you weren't ready for, kind of a thing. You know, all of a sudden you see a lane and you try and get under it.
Like someone pops out.
Or in
the middle of your sprint or something. And also when you second guess yourself, I think that's one of the, if you're not focused 100%, is the times I got injured is when I wasn't like super focused. Or recently when I broke my thumb like 7 weeks ago on my mountain bike, it was actually the rear shock that completely broke in the landing. It just snapped in half. So that time it wasn't my fault. But on the snowboard, when I broke my collarbone, it was just like, you know, I just landed like a 720 or something, and I was just going down to the lift, and I was just gonna do something simple, as you know, going from switch to regular, like just a 180 slide on the ground, and then boom. So I wasn't focused, like, and that's I think it's another tip for the paintballers. To really, whatever you do, whenever you're practicing or whatever you do, always set your mind to do it 100%. You know, always.
Commit
if you do
it.
Drills, 100%. You know, commit 100%, because that's going to teach you also how to do it 100% when it's tournament time. And avoid getting hurt.
So your brother and yourself got onto Joy Division. Is that were you guys taking it super serious before that happened? Like it's starting to go somewhere, or once you guys got on Joy, it was kind of like, okay, this is going somewhere. This could be something.
I would say we took it super seriously. Like we went to our friends, the two brothers I told you about. We went to their garage and like try to upgrade our equipment all the time. We put like anti-ball detents on our, at the time we were playing with pumps. So the pump guns that we were using didn't have anti-ball detents. So we like, with their machine, we like put those in. We made new balls. We polished the barrels with chrome polish, and like the insides were like, you looked at a light and you would like blind yourself because it was so high polish, and so our accuracy was ridiculous, like way better than today, with today's barrels. We took it, like we did tons of drills. Like we, at that very early stage, we started thinking like, okay, this is what I normally do in a game. How can I get better? Oh, what if I stand behind this tree and then I just like start like thinking about how I actually stand behind the tree, and because obviously we were playing behind trees back in the days. And then, you know, so we did tons of drills, and we played a lot against each other, like one-on-ones. I remember one Christmas holiday, the holiday was like 21 days, and I think we played 19 days out of those 21.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like, and I think those are the times that you really evolve. So to answer your question, getting on Joy just boosted our like motivation to train harder and harder and harder.
Well, I think having a brother too like that and being able to play as much as you guys did, you have instant feedback. Whereas if you didn't, you had to kind of go off of you could do your drills, But until you actually got on the field with your team, you didn't really have anybody saying, "Hey, man, you're hanging out, your elbow's hanging out," or this or that. But with having a brother, I can only imagine he's like, "Hey, stupid, put your elbow in. You're sticking your elbow too far, or your goggles are coming out before your marker, or something like that." So that had to be super beneficial.
And a brother does not have to think about what he says to you.
Exactly.
So he will.
That's where the stupid comes in
all the time. Yeah, and going to practices and from practice, I think was about 50% of the result from the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Was done in the car ride to the practice and from, by analyzing and absorbing and talking about it together. And I think that's why you see a lot of brothers that are super good, like the Malicheski brothers from Aftershock, Image maybe it was.
I think it was Image.
And then the Jackson brothers on AC Dallas.
Blonsky.
I'm trying to think of more. Blonsky brothers, yeah. So tons of brothers that are really, really good. And if you play against two brothers on a team, don't mess up against them, because you're gonna get
chopped up.
You have two guys with the strongest connection two guys can have, and they will get you. If you mess with one of them, the other one's gonna get you.
The hardest critics of each other, are the two brothers. So how did BunkerKings come about? Or we kill suckers, and that whole kind of mentality and that whole brand. How did that come about?
Okay, quick history there. Like, our favorite subjects, Alex and me, were always like wood shop. We actually had like sewing shop or whatever it's called in school, and our moms sew all our clothes. So when I was snowboarding in the beginning, my mom would make my snowboard pants and like put cordura on the knees to make them last longer, and on the butt and on my snowboard pants. So that like showed us that you can upgrade existing things, you can make things better. And Alex was like such an artist, always has always been ridiculously good at drawing, and
really
so super creative, and and I tried it too as well, as much as I could. And he was very into computers, so we like started doing the computer thing, graphic designs and stuff on the computers at a very, very early age. I think Alex paid like $6,000. Like, he had a paying plan for his first Mac, laptop.
Yeah.
So expensive, super expensive. Anyway.
So was he modeling at the time to be able to afford something like that?
Yeah, exactly. He was modeling to afford that, and he moved also. I forgot to mention that, but he moved away from Sweden, and which kind of like made us split up. So I didn't have him with me anymore on Joy Division, so I had to like get to know the Joy Division guys better and better and better to make them my new brothers. And so he was in Italy for 2 years. He was in Germany and Paris, Germany and France for a long time, and then he moved to New York. So he didn't play paintball at those years. And then the Angel came out, and we got a smoking deal on the Angels thanks to our relationship with the WDP Joy Division. And so I sent him an Angel to New York. And at the time, pretty much at the same time, we also played Mayhem Masters in England, and New York GC was over, and I talked to Rosie, and I talked to some of the other guys on GC, and really got along with them. Like, really, I remember Rosie told me I was one cocky little bastard, but I did really good against their amateur A team. I shot 5 guys on. You remember GC Gold? They were like a really, really good semi-pro team at the time. So I shot like 5 dudes of them by myself up on the snake side, and Rosie saw that, luckily, because I'll tell you later. But anyway, I met like some of the GC guys and gave the contacts to Alex, or like told him to contact GC. So he started playing up in Newburgh with the GC guys and got on their amateur B team, GC Silver. And then, so he got really into it again. And so we made the plan for me to come over and play a MPPL with him, a 10-man event with GC Silver. And at the practice there up in Newburgh, Jim Murray from GC Black, which was the pro team, took off to the All-Americans. And so they didn't have a front guy. And they're like, yo, Max, we saw you play over in England. You want to play pro with us? And I was like, wow. So I felt bad for the Silver guys, the amateur B team, but they were okay with it. They saw like they didn't want to hold me back from like playing pro.
Yeah.
Especially coming all the way over from Sweden to New York. So that's how I got on the pro, a US pro team.
Yeah.
So I like just dropped everything in Sweden, my physical therapy school, everything, and stayed the whole year there. Went back home, finished off physical therapy school, but kept playing at the same time, like going back and forth between US and Europe.
Huh. And so how did where did the whole BunkerKings and everything come about from that?
I was just gonna say, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
No, that's good because that kind of I'm sure that is the build up to it.
Yeah. So during that year, I moved in with my brother, and I'm super grateful for him having me over for as long as he did.
Mm-hmm.
At his place in New York. We were like living life. He had an amazing Manhattan life, which was unbelievable. So we were like trying to figure out what to do when he wasn't modeling and we weren't playing paintball, and we really wanted to. We went a lot to Pearl Paint, which is like an artist shop in New York, very famous. And there they had these t-shirt screens where you could buy like a t-shirt screen and print t-shirts yourself at home. We're like, whoa, that's super cool. So we brought that home, and so we started printing some t-shirts. And then one of our teammates, Will, just had like he had made some beanies and stuff like that with a BunkerKings logo, Burger King logo, but he changed out the R and G to N and K, so it's BunkerKings instead of Burger King. So that's how it started all. So we like got together and we started the brand for fun, just in the beginning, like, oh, let's make some of this, let's make some of that, and then people really liked it.
So it was just apparel at first, right?
I'm sorry?
It was just apparel at first. It was hats, beanies, shirts.
Yeah. But prior to that, I had made like headbands back in Sweden on my mom's sewing machines. I have a headband which is from 1995 or 1996, which is, except for the sandanas, which Aftershock used to have, I think is the oldest like paintball headband.
Yeah.
In the sport of paintball, because people didn't really play in headbands except for Aftershock using the hunting gear, the sandana stuff.
Yeah, because I remember the BunkerKing stuff was super thick and nice and huge for I'm assuming for nice cushy bounces and everything like that.
Yeah, we had a beanie called the 40 ouncer. Nicky Cuba used to play with it. It was so thick, and he would fold it up. It was like I would kid you not, it was like 2 inches of just like boink boink, plus Nicky had his fro underneath too, so his head was like this big with his face. It was so cool, so funny.
I can't imagine playing with that now at like World Cup down in Florida with the mugginess and everything. Oh my god. Yeah. But
talking about that foam, it was so cool. Like, since I invented the and here's one thing we got to clear. People say like, oh, there was a, like with the BunkerKing Supreme pack, there was strapless packs before. Well, I need to explain that quickly.
Yeah.
That difference between those packs And what I invented is that I'm trying to find a pod here. Anyway, is that you in this the BunkerKings Supreme pack is that you can actually just push the pod in. You don't have to. You just hold the pod and you push it in. The openings are open, so it's a one-handed functionality compared to like if you have to hold the pod up, then you have to grab the strap and you have to push it in. And with the old school strapless packs, you had to open like the loops and then push the pod. So it's a huge difference with that simple functionality that you just in and out, like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you
it's almost a way.
It's
you can operate it yourself.
Yeah, you could fill up like at practice was like where when I made the first prototype, it was like, whoa, this is so awesome for practice when you need to turn it around really quick. You could load yourself up with 4 pods in like 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was done. So going back to BunkerKings, it's so funny that one that we played together with Greg Hastings, Reds, who created the brand Reds, which had these awesome packs, really new thinking. He had this really comfortable belt, and you could attach different kind of harnesses to that belt. So we were playing together, and from his company, from Greg, we bought neoprene that he had left over, and we put it in our headbands. So it's so cool. It's like all these creative people playing on the same team. We're like collaborating, you know, buying the neoprene from Greg, and then I went to the fashion district and I like negotiated with these garment store owners, like, how much is this leopard fabric? And they're like, $25 a yard. I'm like, $25? Too crazy. Okay, $18. I'm like, I'll give you $12 per yard. It's like, no way. Okay, let's meet at 15. So it's like the beginning of BunkerKings was so like, you know, like old school village kind of way of making things. You go to this guy, get that, you go to that guy and do that, then you bring it together, and then we drive up to Union City in New Jersey to Ernie, who had a sewing place, and then they would stitch up there. We went to this other guy and we made the you know, the logos, the TPR logos from another place on Broadway, and then we took those, collected those. Oh, do we dare ordering the minimum quantity of 300? That's crazy, Alex. And we were like, oh, this is scary, but let's do it. And then we collected everything, went to Hoboken, Union City, which was like an old production town on the New Jersey side for all of Manhattan. All the clothing, everything was used to be made there. But at this time, it was like all like desert. It's like empty, like ghost town, because everything moved to China. All production to China. So it was kind of depressing, but you know, that was all like deserted. But
an open door at the same time.
Yes, because Ernie was like looking for work. Like, what can I make? Paintball headbands. Sure, I'll make it for you guys. So then we printed the T-shirt. We started printing the T-shirts in Hoboken with this guy, really cool guy. And he couldn't leave his print shop because he had this electronic thing around his foot instead of prison. So he was like stuck in his print shop. So we started working with him, and he had this crazy not Rottweiler, but like this crazy pit bull, which tried to kill us a bunch of times. So he was the only one that controlled it. So every time we were like standing there printing the T-shirts together with him, we're like watching our backs, making sure the monster wouldn't get us. It was so cool. It like really like BunkerKings from the streets of New York, as we say, the slick streets of New York. Like seriously, like from Brooklyn, Hoboken, like Queens, like it's pretty much, and it came up at such a cool time of New York, because New York was really like dangerous up until '99. It was like you could pretty much not go to Times Square without getting mugged. But then Giuliani and a couple of other factors cleaned up the whole city, so it was like more safe. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like being in a place like that where hip hop was founded, like all these, like graffiti, all these cool trends and cultures, and the super cool subway system, etc. It was so inspiring, and I think that's a huge reason why we did BunkerKings, because we saw all these cool people, all these cool trends, and we got so influenced by them that we really wanted to bring it into paintball. Because paintball had you had that like T-shirt, like, sorry for talking bad about JT.
Oh no,
but I love JT.
Yeah.
But this T-shirt, this is what a paintball T-shirt would look like. All right, a picture of a guy with a face hit, you know, a mask and a hit in the face of the mask, and it would say "Gogged" next to it in like neon color. That was like the coolest paintball T-shirt at the time. We're like, this is not cool at all. So we felt a huge gap in paintball, so that we wanted to bring in there. So all you kids that think that there's other brands that brought like the street style into paintball, I'm sorry to correct you, but this is where it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Carl. I don't know if you played at the time, but there was no paintball fashion whatsoever.
Yeah. Starting in. I mean, I thought I was fashionable, but I was gravely mistaken. But you know, I started back in 2002 era, 2003, and.
Sorry, Carl. Sorry, my friend.
No, you're good.
Yeah. How long does it take?
How long? No cut.
How long will the cut take? Like a minute?
Now maybe 2 minutes, 1 minute.
Okay. Is that okay, Carl?
Yeah.
So just use the. Cool. Sorry about that. You have to go in and edit and.
Oh, good. No, it'll be in it. It'll be good. It builds a story.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm redoing my kitchen here. We'll talk and then.
Yeah, we'll still talk over it. I mean, it's all right. It's all good. That's what I enjoy about it.
Life is happening next to us.
Exactly. Well, and I want
Maximus is rebuilding his kitchen.
I want to tell you too before you know, when we sign off and everything like that, I want to talk to you a little bit too off the air. I want to show you a couple things that that I've been working on as far as like product and stuff goes, and
cool.
And see what you think. And you know, because I'm always doing the same thing. I'm always thinking about how to innovate, how to change, not necessarily change, but maybe make, you know, something more convenient, or you know, put a little bit more thought into it. And that's what I liked about you guys, though, is just the innovation and the style. And I never got to wear anything of your guys's, and but I always admired it for sure.
Cool, thank you. And it was such a cool time at going back to the start of BunkerKings. It was like you could still like come up with so much stuff. Like anything you did was new, you know. And now it's more saturated, and it's a lot harder to come up with innovations like that, you know. Like I mean, I wish I had this thing, this like a soft barrel bag that never breaks, and you just rinse it with water. Like now everyone's imitated this and everyone can use it, you know. Like it's hard to come up with this now,
right,
compared to like 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. It's like, but I still think if the car industry, if the kitchen industry, if the skateboard, snowboard, surf, all mountain bike industry, if they can come up with new stuff, so can we. I mean, there's must be so many things you can still come up with in paintball. I'm not trying to say stop thinking about it, because there's always room for improvement. It's just a little bit harder now.
Well, while we're on that subject, let's talk about your goggle. The new fancy. When I saw the Kickstarter, I mean, you guys, that thing was a hit as far as that goes. I mean, you guys, were you expecting it to do that well, or the paintball community to come together and kind of get behind this idea?
Yeah, like if the paintball community came behind the idea, like how?
Well, did you expect them to be behind it as much as they were, rather than, oh, it's just another goggle or whatever? Because I mean, I saw the Kickstarter. I think you guys is, what you wanted to reach. I can't remember what the number was, but I mean, you guys exceeded that by tenfold.
130%, I think, or 1,200% or something like that. Yeah. I think. 2 years ago, a friend of mine that used to work for Dye, he's like, no, why would anyone make a goggle? It's so saturated. It's so, like, so everyone you spoke to about that, it's like, no, why make another paintball goggle?
Right.
And then started thinking about how many good things there was on paintball goggles, but they were never in the same goggle. Never. Like, you would either have the echoing, you would either be exposed, your half of your face would be exposed, or it will fog up, or the phone would come off, or hard to hear, or and which are things that I always accepted, but it annoyed me. Like, in the back of my head, I always thought about, like, and like, I think it always annoyed me a little bit. So then I talking to the Virtue guys about maybe being able to work together and use their lens system, which is one of the biggest things on the mask, is to make a new lens. It's like huge, and I was really happy using the Virtue Goggle. So that's one of the reasons why I was able to take the chance, the risk to do it. But so once we started, it was like no turning back. Then it was just heads down and keep working, and try to figure out how to make a goggle that people love. And to answer your question, if I feel like it's working really, really well, and I love the features, I think most of the paintballers will like it, because as we started this discussion, like where I'm from and my background, everything needs to be super efficient, because why else would we need it? And if it wasn't that good, we would throw it off that air balloon that's going to take us through life, on our journey in life, and if it's just dead weight and nothing good with it, we'd throw it out of the balloon. So once, it's always super nervous, right? When you get that first production sample, even though you've done tons of rapid prototypes, it's still like a little bit scary. But when you had it there, it's like, wow, it felt so good. And so once I tried that and we started filming the Kickstarter, I was like, wow, no, I was feeling really good about it. But of course, it's always scary.
Yeah. Now,
and if you're not scared, I think you start getting relaxed. If you don't feel the pressure, you don't keep working as hard as you should, I think. So, sorry.
No, you're fine. Have you always wanted to make a goggle, or did it come to a point where you're just like, I have to make a goggle?
I always looked at a goggle as something that was impossible to make, because it's only the big ones that can make it.
Yeah. Like
the huge companies. So it was always this unreachable goal. And I think so a loader, a goggle, a marker, it's like, no, those are the big threes in paintball, that and of course paintballs that you can't make because it's not reachable, and it isn't unless you have a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And that's also tons of money to make the Kickstarter, and I mean, that's a huge project, way bigger than I could ever expect it to be. But the results of it, and the 3-4 weeks that it's been, has been one of the craziest times in my life. I think I spoke to, or chatted to, about 3,000-4,000 people throughout it. I worked till 4 o'clock at night, 5 days in a row after the launch, and then kept going late nights, just to have enough time to do what I was supposed to, answer people. Because it's like, just like you, like if you can't take full responsibility of what you do and help everyone out that's asking a question or whatever, then you feel like you're unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you don't want to make anyone disappointed. That's what I think. Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why Max Lundqvist is Maximus, and I think that's one of the reasons why Carl is Carl Markovsky in the paintball scene, because we always take the time with whoever we meet and whatever questions come out, and we try to be ourselves and just be like super cool with everybody. And I think that's what makes the difference between that's the difference, as we say. That's the difference that makes the difference.
Yeah, because I think also we recognize that we were in that position before. You know, we were in that curious. I mean, we're always curious as somebody who likes to create things to another person who likes to create things. I think we've always been curious. We've always asked the questions. We've always been in that position of interest. You know, we're always interested in a bunch of different things, and it's so humbling having somebody come up to you and be interested in you, that I feel like my time, whether it's answering a question in person or online or something, they've invested their time into you to do that. So I feel like it's my responsibility to do the same back. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, definitely. It's very cool, and plus it's as if you play on a pro team or semi-pro team, or if you're on a team that really wants to make it up there, like, you are going to be 100 times more marketable if you are a very, very nice, genuine person that takes the time with everybody and puts in that extra effort, even though you like just want to go home and your whole team of Swedes are in the rental van and you're like talking to these kids in Huntington Beach at the MPPL, and your teammates just want to kill you because they're so tired, but you're still like, wait guys, wait. No, sorry, what were you saying? No stress.
Yep.
How can I help you? Like, what? Okay, cool, awesome. Maybe write a signature, autograph, or just answer a question regarding a technique, paintball technique, or BunkerKings or whatever. That's the difference that makes the difference. Like, giving that extra when you feel like, maybe you just want to leave, and when you do put in that extra energy, that comes back 10 times over.
Yeah.
And all that positivity just keeps coming back. Is the more you give, the more you get. That's a cliche,
exactly,
but it works that way.
I've gotten so much shit over the years with Bruno, wanting to leave the field, and it's because it's a totally different feeling at the field now. Pro teams don't really stick around. I mean, they might stick around for a signing or something like that, but other than that, they're out of there and doing something else. But I've always loved being at the field and being in that environment and talking with people and just seeing, seeing the friendships, seeing you and everybody else and being able to conversate for a little bit, but just being in the environment. And Bruno's always like, we're going back to the hotel. I was like, dude, it's 5 minutes after our match. Can we just can we relax for a little bit? Can I be at the tournament, be in this moment for just a little bit and talk to people? And granted, he's been in the game forever, but
can I ask you a question about that? The 5 minutes after the game and enjoying everything around. Did you feel like after you played a paintball game, especially if you win the game or after practice or whatever, did you feel like you felt peace like you never felt before? Like that adrenaline's been pumping so much, and you're like, And also, like, if you win the game, it's like a huge satisfaction. We had this tough game that we had to win to make it in Sunday or whatever. And then after, I can never, just pack up my bag and leave. I need to be like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
So it's like that reaction on the body is really awesome, I think. And it's, it's almost like you almost died, but I survived.
Yeah, it's very. I need a big, a good time to decompress from the stress of the game, and not necessarily that I'm like dwelling on the game, even a win or something like that. I just need to kind of come down, just kind of have that time to come down a little bit, and then just be relaxed, and then just I'm good 10-15 minutes after that. But I'll still be in my gear. I don't need to de-gear right away. I'll still
exactly.
I'll stay in my pants or or top or whatever. But yeah.
And also another thing that you were talking about there before that I just wanted to also mention, and for the listeners, is like, I think you have it and I have it. I think a lot of people miss it. It's kind of like not think outside the box, but look outside the box. Okay, so like here's where we look, right? Mm-hmm. But when you start looking outside here, oh, cool. That's a cool bird up in that tree, or like that's some really cool, like when it's kind of hard to explain, but try to like broaden your vision and see everything about what you do. Like, okay, so now you're in Florida playing a paintball tournament, and not just, let's get to the field. Like, I'm in Florida playing a paintball tournament in Orlando. This is awesome. The sun is shining. Like, the more you see than just the stuff that you're doing right here, like getting my gear bag packed or rolling my gear bag to the field that we're going to play. If you see like all the cool stuff around you, the experience becomes so much greater. And if you smile to people, like next time you see that guy or girl, like they're going to smile back at you. And like, there's so many things
that could
like
be their first interaction with you is
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's called like life hacks or whatever, but it's not a hack. It's just like
enjoying life.
I guess it's a little bit of a hack. Yeah, like try to huge tip. I wish I did it earlier in my paintball career. Like enjoyed where I am right now to the fullest. I'm at the airport now. Oh, this sucks. The airplane is not leaving. Oh, it got delayed an hour. Cool. I got another hour to do this. Yeah. But it takes a lot of effort and energy to do that, to think that way and to come up with those things. But if you never start trying, then you're never going to learn.
Right. So it's enjoying the small moments. And it's like you said, too, noticing all these things. Like if you ask my wife, it's called ADD. But I just call it noticing.
In a very good way.
Yeah, I just call it noticing things. Because there's some things that I'm very meticulous at, but then there's other things I'm very lackadaisical at. But I try, it's probably dangerous when I'm driving, but like I will focus on the road, but I'll also notice things off to the side.
Yeah.
And this I have, for some reason, I have a keen eye on noticing these red-tailed hawks that are either flying or posted up on a post.
Love hawks.
I love hawks. They're so awesome.
And according to the Indians, it means luck. If you see I think you call it carnivore bird, like hawk, eagle, stuff like that. That means luck if you see one. Yeah. So every time going to practice or something, you see one. Yeah,
I see them all the time.
Good luck today, like woohoo!
I see them all the time. I'm pointing out bald eagles, and then I look around, and nobody else is looking at this thing, and I'm like, anybody see this? Is it just me that's just admiring this awesome bird that's in the air?
And that curiosity, I'm so grateful that my parents gave me, because that curiosity of the shape of that car, the color of that car, the rims, everything, or maybe house that looks cool, or whatever you see in life, you project that into, why did I make this shape like this? Okay, maybe I saw like, I don't know if you can see it, but maybe I saw like an airplane that had that logo once in a time, and okay, this looks like the back wing of an airplane, and like this looks like a spaceship. Like everything you see in life is inside here, and then it comes out through here, through no, just kidding. But your hands, as you're creating, as you're shaping, as you're drawing. So realizing that everything you do, even now when life might suck, or like when you go up in the morning, it's like, even at the negative times in life, you can absorb things that comes into something super positive later on.
But everything that you do is some sort of expression of your reality.
Yeah. and it's not just about being happy. It's also about something called delayed gratification for you kids that don't know what that is.
Right?
Okay, so let's bring it back to caveman level. Mammoth meat can become future mammoth meat if you work a little bit hard by drying it and like maybe trading it with someone else and so on. So that's like the start of delayed gratification in human history. But it's like, what it means is like, if the stuff that you do now, which sucks, is going to give you something positive in the future, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit more about the goggle. Do you happen to have a goggle in front of you? We can kind of show it off.
I happen to have 3 goggles.
Ooh, look at
that. So yeah, I have 3 goggles here.
Nice.
And yeah, this is the Urban Grenade gray one. Jacob Edwards was rocking this at World Cup, and I wasn't too happy about it in the beginning, but when I saw it on him on the field, I was super happy. Then we have the one that matches Leopard fantastically. The Supreme Gold. And then here's like an old color combination that I started doing on the Supreme pack, and we were huge Breaking Bad fans, and so we called it Heisenberg. That color combination is purple green.
Nice. Now, how many color combinations are you guys gonna produce?
Right now 6, and I'm sorry for all your fans of black. I'm a huge black fan too, but when deciding on the colors, like a plain black mask, it didn't like to show the geometrics and to show all the highlights and everything. It wouldn't come out. You see like all the blue details there, and then you have so we have 3 different color ways we can make this mask in. You see that plastic around the lens is one plastic. Then you have this very soft, I call it like the bounce flex here. That's another material, so you can do one color on that. And then this is like a little bit harder plastic, and that's another color combination. So here, yeah, so that's those 6 color combinations are the ones that we did on the Kickstarter, which was 2 kind of like camo ones. One Master Sarge, inspired from the game. What's the video game called again? Halo?
Yeah.
There's a Halo Master Sarge one, so it's got like the same color combinations as his mask. And then we have a camo one, which is olive. And then we have those 3 that I just showed you. And the 6th one is called the Patriot. It's the one Jason Edward was wearing at World Cup. It has like this white frame, and it looked really cool. Like from far, you could really see like the shape of it, which I was very, very happy about. So that's it. There are some things. If you want me to continue, I'll tell you what you might appreciate as a player, Carl, is you know how we always made fun of visors. Like Billy Wing was the only one, like always rocking visors. So I really liked them when I was wearing them, but the only visor that I really liked was the Vio visor. So
yeah.
So up until then, it's like you had it on when it was raining, but then you took it off as soon as you could. But it's really good because it helps with the glare. It really helps like protect your mask when you lay it down like that. I don't know how many lenses I scratched by it, like putting it down uncarefully. So that helps a lot like that. It's called a micro visor. It's really small. You can still put another visor on top of it if you want, another bio visor. So that helps also not getting that paint. You know, when you get paint on the inside of the lens, that helps protect that as well. So that's like the first ever micro visor. I'm sure there's going to be other companies imitating it. But anywho, then I feel like we got the balance really, really good. Like how much to protect. There's been so many goggle systems where you see a picture of a guy talking and you see like the whole like chin and like the cheekbones. So this is protects your face completely, but because of the geometry, it comes in really nicely here. I don't know if it's easier to see on a black mask, maybe. It comes in really tight like that.
Conforms to your face.
Yeah, and that makes you maybe touch the goggle, right? Like your soft skin here, or rough like you and me have with the beard.
Yeah.
So that makes us that way we have to have a soft inside to not get like hurt or something. So it's like super smooth on the inside. And here comes one of the tricks, is that geometry gives you, it like kind of comes out over the mouth, which gives you a really good mouth clearance. And then there's tons of ventilation to just get all that moist air out from your breath.
Condensation.
As you. So that yeah. And then there's tons of other features which you can see on the Kickstarter, BunkerKings Kickstarter, and which is still going on for, I think, another 14 days.
Okay, that was my next question: is where can people donate or help out or find them to be able to be a part of it?
On Kickstarter.com, if you search BunkerKings, you will find it. There's also a link in our bio on Instagram, BunkerKings Instagram. Please follow. That is super appreciated if you do. And then there's a bunch of different like Facebook and BunkerKings Facebook and so on.
Cool, man.
And it's cool because, I mean, Kickstarter, I think we came in the top 1% of Kickstarters, most successful Kickstarters ever.
Really?
And it's a paintball product.
Yeah. Which
is huge for paintball as well. So it feels stupid about, like, I feel like it's so stupid to talk about your own product and like, oh, it's so cool, top 1% and so on.
No, it's
but
good,
it really is. Thank you, my friend. It really is exciting.
You're proud of it. I mean, I can tell.
It's my baby.
Well, and it's something. It's something when, nobody cares about it, or somebody who makes a product, it's like, oh, here's just another this. But when you can tell the passion and the pride behind it, there's you shouldn't have any kind of feelings of kind of not wanting to show it. I'd be proud of it too, man.
Thank you. And it's interesting. Like, we talked so much about our history and all since day one, like from my first paintball mask, which was not the first time I played paintball. We played ski goggles, hockey helmets with visors, really dangerous things, which you cannot do at home.
Super safe thing. What are you talking about?
Oh man. So I think from that first Vents Predator mask I bought, which was like thermal lens, it was so good. It was like the best thing you could have. The experience of that and all the other masks that I play with, and I play with them all, has been put into this. You remember when we used to have like double goggle straps? It's like, why should we have two goggle straps? Let's make it wider instead and have like a really sticky silicone print on the inside. Cool. Yeah, let's make it wider. Can we make it wider? Yeah, let's make it wider. And it's like, okay, how do we make it more comfortable? Can we make the foam wider and a little bit more dense? Yeah, we can. Okay, let's do that. And can we make it softer? Yeah, we can put microfiber on the inside. Oh, let's do microfiber. Can we put the logo on the microfiber? Yeah, we can put the logo. It's like, so there's like 50 million discussions about what we can do and if we should do it. Should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we put the extra effort into it? And like, should we continue using that thermal paint, which is the inside of the lens, which is made by an Italian company, brought over to a production country, put into the lens. Okay, so is that cheap? No, it's not. But it's the best thermal paint on the planet.
Right.
So is a fog-free goggle important? Yes.
Yeah.
So should we spend the money? Yes. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's I think the most important thing about a goggle is that it doesn't fog. And trust me, I see so many teams that use so many different goggles, and where we practice like cold indoor reball halls, you're gonna get fog if you don't have a good mask. So
yeah.
So that's the main goal with this.
Well, and I think, you're talking about how, obviously funding is always an issue, but, somebody making a product that, let's say a goggle, I mean, so many people think the standard is what is out there already, which all it really is, I mean, and you can talk about any product, about anything, that's not the standard, that's just the base. And you can, if you think of a better way, or if you come up with, a more convenient idea to work off of that base, I mean, that's the thing is, throughout history, people have, regardless of whether you've come up with it or not, somebody invented the chair, right? But there are millions of people who, after that, have come up with more comfortable chairs.
Yeah.
And it's just thinking about a product and just tweaking it a little bit, going, you know what? Why don't we do this?
So sorry. If I'm not gonna pee myself, I have to run quickly.
You're fine.
Sorry about that. 3 cups of coffee. Oh, this reminds me of Naked Gun. You guys get to follow me into the bathroom. Hopefully I don't fart too loud.
No, it's all good. It comes with the territory.
Have you seen the movie Naked Gun?
Which one?
I think it's the first one
with
Leslie Nielsen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so funny, and I think he's doing this interview, but then he forgets to take his microphone off, so he goes to the bathroom. So actually, he was talking to the crowd at the NFL game.
Yeah.
So as he's like done with that speech to the crowd, he just goes into the bathroom. So the whole arena is following his bathroom visit. And as of course he misses the toilet and it goes like whoops.
I don't think he gets enough credit. I think he was such an innovator, I feel, of comedy on TV, and his style of comedy. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit.
Yeah, rest in peace, Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Fantastic actor. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
I forgot to wash my hands, but I'll try not to touch the screen too much.
It's okay. It's all good. Well, I was planning, we got to wrap it up here soon anyway, because I got to get off. I got to get dressed for work and get ready for work out of here.
So you were talking about the standard and how it's like a base, but it can be
elaborated
changed.
on. Yeah, it can be built up on, and I think that's what deters so many people from besides funding, obviously, is deterring people from building a product is, well, this is the, if it's out right now, it's the best thing that it could be. It's like, but it's not, and not saying that the products aren't good, it's just like there's always a better way to do something, and don't put it in your head that this is the only way that you can do it, and this is it. I mean, it's the same thing with playing paintball. If you want to take it back to that, if somebody says, ramping is the only way to play paintball right now, or if this is the only way to play this position, and this is the only style that you should have playing this way, and this is how you should do this. I've made my career on doing the unconventional routes, and it might not have been beneficial
to a
all
spot
the time.
that no one thought that you could get to, and whoa, we made it.
Yeah, and that's how it made my name.
Listen to Matty Marshall talk about you playing. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because he knows what you're capable of since he played together with you.
But that was, to me,
and
that
he watched
was...
you.
Yeah, and to me, that was me being my creative side coming out, and my passion for having fun playing the game. And I think that's where kind of the two collided on the paintball field and off the paintball field.
Yeah, and to get very deep, everything that you did in your life before led you to doing that. And I think the same thing with coming up with something like this goggle is from using all those different goggles and snowboard goggles, and not being happy until I nailed that skateboard trick the 523rd time I tried. So I think we can kind of like how we talked about opening your eyes to see things around that then affects you later on in life and makes you think of new ideas of doing things because you saw one dude in the streets doing this, and you can relate to something in paintball that you can do, even though it wasn't paintball you saw. it gave you an idea that you can do something different. And that's all about like opening your eyes to get all the input, and then be okay with not finding the solution directly.
Yeah.
Not stressing over, just being in a good state, that a good state where you relax and not stressed, where that's when like good things are come from.
Yeah.
Like as much input as possible, testing and so on, and then in a relaxed way just try to let it come. Because when I sit down with a problem now, compared to like 3 years ago, if I sit down with a problem and I'm like, I used to be like, damn, I can't come up with a solution. Now I'm like, oh, I sit down with a piece of paper, a pen, and I'm like, the solution will come. Relax.
Yeah.
That's what I tell. I know it's gonna come. Always. But if I stress, it's not gonna come. So.
Yeah, I've always told myself I have to be willing to try and fail, rather than try and quit.
And to fail is a sign of vulnerability, like being able to be vulnerable, be okay with failing, because that being okay with failing takes a lot of self-confidence, a lot of because it shows weakness, right? If you fail, you show weakness. It's scary to show weakness. So I think that's something that has been built up by your parents, by my parents, and like by our friends, and like the way we've been, and that, you know, it's like a factor of a million things.
Yep.
But it's so anyway, I think paintball can help build that confidence a lot. You know, being able to lose, and it's okay, and then we go home, we practice a little bit more, and we get better, and then we win a little bit more, and it's like, it's okay to lose, but we want to win.
Yeah, exactly.
And that helps you outside the field.
Well, Max, dude, thank you so much. We did an hour and a half, and we could probably keep going.
We wrote a book.
Yeah, dude, I could totally keep going, but I'm so, you know, I either have to do these later at night when the kid's asleep or early in the morning. Like we started this my time at 5:30 in the morning. So
respect.
Yeah, I could totally keep going for another hour, another 2 hours, whatever it is. But hey, man, where can people find you on? You know, what are your handles on Instagram, Facebook?
Maximus Lundqvist on Instagram and Facebook. It's spelled L-U-N-D, Lund, with an N as in Nancy, D-Q-V-I-S-T, same as the hockey goalie for Rangers, Henrik Lundqvist. Maximus Lundqvist. It means branch, or like a part of a tree. So that's Facebook, Instagram, BunkerKings, Facebook, Instagram. Please follow. It's really helps out. And that's it. I'm not Twitter. I'm not all the other cool things. But
me neither. Yeah.
I just started doing Instagram Live, which feels like a huge step for me.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And stay on the line, because I want to talk to you still about a few things. But I enjoyed it. This was a great conversation, and I'm sure we'll have more in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Later, guys.
Thank you, Max, so much for sitting down and talking with me, dude. I had a great time. I'm sure we will have more and more conversations as the weeks and months and years go on. I'm so glad that people agree to do this with me, because I know it can be nerve-wracking sometimes. Because, you know, sometimes people feel very vulnerable on here, but dude, it's so much fun, and you learn so much, because we talk about all kinds of things, from paintball to mountain biking, downhill mountain biking, to surfing, snowboard, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, thank you Max, appreciate it, man. Take care. Another big thank you to our sponsors, guys, ckfightlife.com. If you love jiu-jitsu and you love paintball combined, that is CK Fight Life. They have all kinds of paintball gear, from packs to pants to jerseys. And if you love jiu-jitsu, they have rash guards. Or even if you want to try jiu-jitsu, which I recommend highly, is stepping onto a mat and trying out jiu-jitsu. It's great, not only physically, but also it is a mental workout, and I highly recommend it. But anyway, they have gis or kimono, whatever you want to call it. They have rash guards or compression gear, and shorts. Anything you need for jiu-jitsu gear, they have over at CK Fight Life. Check them out, guys. Let them know I sent you over there. We are also brought to you by Charm City Paintball. Now, CharmCityPaintball.com. Didn't know he had a website. I'm glad he does now, because I can direct you guys there. But has a bunch of new Gucci headbands out. Go over and check him out. Limited run until he makes some more, which is few and far between. But all of his gear is usually about 10 headbands or less. Usually less than that, because it's all hand sewn custom gear. But make sure you hit him up. He's also down to do any kind of custom things that you guys can come up with, as far as patterns go, or whatever. He will work with you. Charm City Paintball. His name is Mike. Give him a holla. We are also brought to you by RiseCustom.com. They will make custom undergear for compression gear, along with jerseys, along with t-shirts, everything to match. Rise will hook you up. Like I said before to you guys, I have Playing on Podcast t-shirts being made by them, and they're awesome. Light, they're breathable, they're extremely soft, and I really, the quality is amazing on these things. Great company, great people. Check them out, risecustom.com, and ShockTechUSA.com. Mechanical is blowing up, and one thing that you will find on a mechanical field is an autococker, and more than likely a ShockTech autococker. If you guys are looking for one, make sure you head over to ShockTechUSA.com. He has assembled guns already for sale. You can find in the guns section, either 5-star or 4-star. But if you're looking to build one on your own, you can buy individual parts from ShockTech. But they have all of everything that you need over there. But make sure you check out the markers, man. These things are sick. They come anodized. They have they're all assembled and tweaked and teched by Danny Love, the man himself, and you will not find a smoother shooting autococker out there. I guarantee it. But check them out, ShockTechUSA.com. Go ahead and give them a little click, 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 click. But thank you to all of our sponsors. And thank you, everybody out there listening. Greatly appreciate it, man. I hope you guys are having an awesome holiday. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. And I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing this. And what I'm going to do is I'm setting up a Patreon right now. So if you guys want to help out, you can head over there and help out the podcast. Because, shit ain't free. And, well, I'm trying to make it free. But, if you guys want to help out, that would be amazing. I don't have it set up yet. I'm getting there. But the support for this thing has been, amazing. And I want to keep doing it. Even though I have retired from the competitive paintball pro circuit, I still want to do this. And I still want to talk to interesting people and, pros and divisional players and people in the industry. I still want to do that. I still want to pick people's brains. I almost said noses, but no, I thought noses when I said that. But anyway, I'm babbling. So thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. I much appreciate it. Make sure you do not text and drive. For gosh sakes, do not text and drive. You will get to your destination much safer if you just listen to a podcast on loop, every one of them. But stay safe, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great time, and we will see you here again soon on the Playing On Podcast. Peace.